Hi everybody, this is Alex and I'm doing my discussion for Module 2. For this discussion section I decided to use the quiz data from Module 1 that was supplied to us. I just thought it'd be interesting to take a look at the data and kind of looking over it. Obviously you've got your student ID numbers here, so it remains anonymous. The score that was received out of 10 on quiz module 1, and then the other variable is whether or not that student participated in the experience point opportunity that was available around that same time. So obviously we have like some discrete numbers here that we could look at from a quantitative perspective, but I want to do something a little different. So I decided to group them into bins. I pulled up the syllabus and separated everything out into basically what grade the student would have received. So I was able to create A's at like 9 and 10, B's were like 80% range, C's were 7 and 6, and D actually was like a very small range on the syllabus. It was like a 55 to 59%, so I just kind of had to scrap that one just to keep things simple, because there's really no way to get that score range just with only 10 points available. So I split it out like that, and I got, just counted them up. Had 19 A's, 6 B's, 6 C's, and 4 F's on the quiz. Also just did a quick count on people that participated in the experience point assignment. Looks like 25 got it and 10 did not. So moving on, I wanted to do like a bar chart just to kind of get a quick visualization of how everything was going to look. So I kind of wanted to compare whether how the student did on the quiz versus whether or not they participated in the bonus assignment. So just laid out a quick contingency table here, kind of like we were talking about in Chapter 2. And so we've got 16 of the 19 students that got an A participated in it, 3 did not. Just kind of went through and separated everything out that way, made sure I counted up for all my totals and everything, and then just went through and graphed it. Now, obviously the graph is already completed, but I'll show you guys really quick what I did just to get this to pop up. I was trying to get the axes to sit a little bit different, and I'm using an older version of Excel, and I guess they just removed some functionality in this version, is what people are saying online. So I wasn't able to switch them the way that I wanted to. So I've kind of got a sideways bar graph going here and throughout the presentation. Let me see. So I already put in, my labels and everything here. So I had grade received by the student, kind of on the y-axis, and then number of students who received that grade on the x-axis here. And then we've got kind of a color-coded side-by-side bar chart going. As you can see, the number of students who got an A, who did the XP assignment, and then the number who got an A who did not. And so I just kind of shook out that way. Obviously, to just do the chart here, you just kind of pop up charts and then with a clustered bar. Now it initially pops up this way, which was kind of interesting. So I just real quick jumped in here to format axis. You can jump down to scale and then do categories in reverse order, and kind of click that checkbox as well to drop everything back down. And then just in order to get more of these tick marks, so it's easier to see what everybody actually scored. What I did for that was you can just pop up in the toolbox on my version anyway, and just add some minor tick marks there. So obviously, after I added the labels and everything, the graph winds up looking a little bit different, but it's it's overall the same data, pretty similar display. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But there's more information to go over here, and one of the things I really liked about the contingency tables, as they discussed with kind of the Titanic example in the book, is that you can look at this a lot of different ways. So I jumped over and started doing just a relative frequency table with the contingencies and everything. So I just wanted to look at kind of overall class participation in the XP assignments and the grades that were received. So we looked, just kind of did some basic functions here. Just kind of copied the table layout and then pulled, so I had to do just some basic division, basically dividing everything by the total, gets you your percentage of students that received this grade and got whether or not they got XP for the first bonus assignment. So we had a large proportion of students that got A's and also did the XP assignment, and like the lowest proportion of students who got XP were obviously in the F category, with none of the students who got F's participated. So I did a stacked bar here just so you can kind of see a little better. Okay, this is all the people who got an A, and this proportion of them did not participate in the XP assignment, and the rest did. So it's a little bit of a different visualization, but I thought it was pretty compelling, interesting to look at. It does make it appear that the students who got a B on the assignment actually had like the highest rate of participation in the XP assignment, and I was a little curious about that because they certainly looks that way when looking at the class overall. But one of the other things that we talked about in Chapter 2 was that if you do separate this out by column, you can kind of look at the percentage within each category of how many students for each particular grade participated. So I went over to another sheet and kind of changed things up a little bit. So now we're looking at the conditional percentage for each of these columns. So we have the individual grade of the student by whether or not they participated in the XP assignment. And so that paints a little bit of a different picture. We now see that the 100% of students in each category that got this particular grade, everyone who got an F did not participate. It's about 66% of the students who got a C participated, and then like 83 and 84% of the B and A students participated. So it's a lot more similar than it looked in that other chart. The higher scoring students seem to participate in the XP assignments. So I thought that was really interesting. It seems like what we can kind of learn from this data and sort of apply to maybe the making a statement about everything is that it appears that the students who were more engaged with the class, listening to the announcements and responding to that type of material, seem to perform better in the class as well. Maybe that just means they're spending more time. Obviously, you'd have to do a lot more gathering of data in order to determine exactly why that occurred. But it's an interesting comparison nonetheless, and I thought it was really kind of fun to look over all this and just kind of draw some comparisons between these two relatively simple sets of data. So thank you guys for listening to my presentation, and look forward to discussing more with you as we continue with the course. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.